Hello backyard and hello YouTube. My name is Jeff from Perfect Q Cooking Channel. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I did two briskets in this video. I did a failed one, wasn't by design, it just failed, and I did a successful one. Both briskets were a little bit different in size. I had one 8-pounder, I had one 12-pounder. Both cooked on the K4L drum smoker. I was very happy with the smoker itself. It held its temp exactly where I wanted it to be, and I'm probably going to do all my briskets on there in the future. But what I want you to see here is I actually took both videos and actually combined them into one here as doing a comparison side by side. Hopefully that's something you'll enjoy. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's something that sharpened my editing skills, if you will, in creating these videos. And again, I hope you really enjoy it, and like and subscribe to my channel. Right on the left I used S&S brisket rub, which I actually really like, but on the right I injected with beef broth. On the left I introduced another flavor. On the right I used an olive oil binder. And then on the left, I believe is the next, I used black pepper, but I only used Natty's beef rub on the right, no other flavors. So my thought is the mistake number one, I didn't inject the failed brisket and I used too many different flavors on it. Alrighty guys, so I lit the briquettes the same way in the chimney that I always use. I use my Weber as a base. It seems to keep everything clean. That's the K4L drum cooker, smoker. Really like it. Bought it at Anderson Barbecue Supply, as I said. But if you look at it on the inside, I filled that charcoal basket full of briquettes. I used Kingsford. I don't know if that matters for both cooks. That's the diffuser plate. That goes right in here on that tab. It's kind of the middle of the way up on the smoker, and of course on the very top is your grill grate. So all in all, I guess to recap, I started the coals the exact same way that I normally would have. Alrighty guys, so if you look at this K4L drum smoker, I mean it held temp just perfect. I figured out my intakes, which are on the left and right in the picture, and then the exhaust in the top. You'll see that later, but they both were cooked at 250 degrees. There was no variables there. Alright guys, so the one on the left, the failed one, look at how dirty that smoke is. That might be a reason as well as why it turned out the way it did, but look at how clean burning the one on the right is. So dirty smoke, I would say, is mistake number two. Alrighty guys, so the cook times were about the same before reaching 170 degrees. That might be the start of the red flags here. They were both different sized briskets, because pre-trimmed, the failed brisket was only an 8-pounder and the successful one was 12, but I don't know what they weighed after trimming them. So I guess we can say mistake number three is the failed brisket took longer to reach 170 degrees, likely drying it out a bit. So does the injection make that big a difference and make the other one cook faster? The other one was a bigger brisket. This all isn't making a whole lot of sense here. Alright, so both of these, once they reached 170 degrees, I went ahead and wrapped them in butcher paper. I used beef tallow, there's a little better picture of it coming up, and smeared it on the paper just like I showed my hand motion there. Did that, and I thought, well, did one get more tallow than the other? So I found the clip of the first brisket, the old one, the failed one on the left. That's the beef tallow, and that's the smearing I did. And I just did a real quick, what I did. And then after that, I put the brisket on there, just like the other one. I didn't have footage of the other one, but wrapped it, and that was it. Well, wait a minute. No, I put a little more tallow on this one on the top. That might be what it was here. That might have been another factor as to why this one turned out a bit better, but I didn't put that much on there. It sure doesn't look like it. Alright, so we're 6 hours in. I assume this was about what started out as just over 11 pounds. With the trimmings, let's say 8.5. 6 hours on, this thing is basically done. It's been running now at 275. So between that and everything that has happened today, I'd say she's done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this off the smoker. I'm going to double check the temp on it. The point is saying it's in the 180s upper range. The flat is in the 200s. So we're gonna pull this off and probably rest it for about 2 hours. Alrighty, so of course there's the moment of truth. On the left is the failed brisket, on the right is the good one. They're both barbecue blanketed, as I said earlier. The one on the left was only total time from start to finish 7.5 hours. The one on the right, 8.5 hours. As I'm unwrapping these, you're gonna see that there's a lot of juice on the left one, but it's not gonna cut as well. The one on the right, the successful one, there's juice on the bottom of that paper. But you also notice that there's a darker color on the one on the right, even though it started out more of a red color than the one on the left. So I'm happy with butcher paper. I'm going to continue using butcher paper. So I'm going to set that aside here on both of them. I'm not a pro at this, so I've not quite edited it perfect. But so they're both in. The next thing is I go ahead and cut them. When I go to cut the one on the left, you're going to see I have to saw a little bit more to get through it. The one on the right cuts through like butter. I do the old brisket turn like you see in other videos and things. You'll see how nice it is, how juicy it is. And I'm still cutting pieces on the one on the left. There's plenty of juice in the one on the left, but the one on the right is internal juice, and that bark on the outside is what I really like and what I'm looking for. So as I continue to cut through these, you can see the one on the right, how juicy that is. Nice sharp brisket knife cutting through. I'm really liking what I see. The one on the left, you can see, there's just so many problems with that one. But the bend test fail on the left. So it's not as big a piece, but that didn't matter. Look at my reaction here. The one on the left, you can tell I was very upset about it. The one on the right, very, very happy. You'll see other takes and bites coming up on the one on the right and how excited I was about how great this turned out. The meats were really, there wasn't an issue in quality so much. A little bit different size of the two, but there was enough things that happened throughout the cook that made a major, major difference. Continuing to cut here, so I'm talking about the point end now on the one on the right. I'm gonna start cutting and making burnt ends, and I just got sick of the one on the left, so that went away now. But I'm cutting the burnt ends. They are just amazing. I have a bunch left over for my family today to enjoy, but very happy with how this cook turned out. You're gonna see me taking a bite here of a burnt end, and it's mind-blowing. I mean, I'm really, really proud of this cook, and yeah,